I'm struggling with this clean.
I've done so many free deep cleans at this point that I feel like I've pretty much seen everything. It's very rare that I find something I'm shocked by, and it's even rarer that one of these homes makes me feel overwhelmed. Straight off the bat, this video is a big fat lie. I know the title card says that this is day 1, but the footage you're seeing right now actually took place on like day 5, day 6. That's because the amount of rubbish in this home was so overwhelming that it took me almost a week to gain access to some of these rooms. We couldn't put a camera or a tripod down to actually film anything until around 50% of the initial rubbish had already been taken. A mother, her 19-year-old son, and their 2 cats live here. The mother is quite severely disabled and she struggles greatly with her mobility and with her mental health. As a result of her disability, she very rarely is upstairs in her own home because she can't get past the stairs. It's full of her 19-year-old son's old plates and bowls. Speaking of, this is his bedroom. It is filled with so much rubbish to the point that the rubbish is overflowing out of his bedroom onto the landing and cascading down the stairs. But before I could even think about clearing his bedroom or the upstairs landing, we needed to get those stairs nice and clear so that we didn't injure ourselves trying to go down them with bin bags.
Hi guys, okay. So, sorry, I'm not taking off my mask because allergies, but there'll be subtitles if you can't understand me. First thing we're gonna do is clear this area. Obviously, we have lights and cameras, so I'm gonna clear this space at the top of the landing first. Once this is clear, we can put our light and our camera and our tripod there, and then we can start tackling these 2 rooms and the rest of the landing. Let's just get into it.
For a large majority of this clean, Harry and I were standing, but we were not touching the floor. This rubbish was thick, dense, and there was a lot of it. So much so that, as you heard before, it was a struggle for me to get before and during footage of this clean because there was nowhere flat for our tripods to stand. And imagine how gasted my flabbers were when we'd finally cleared enough rubbish to see the floor and we realised it was carpet. Not just carpet though, we also had enough cat hair that we could probably create an entirely new cat out of it. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the thing that was becoming the most apparent to us at this moment in time was the thick smell of cat urine and feces. The son told me that these carpets were put in well before he was born, so they're easily over 19 years old, and they've quite obviously been through it, so they're gonna need some serious TLC. So we are in the spare bedroom. There's a lot of cat feces and the rubbish, it's not coming up on camera, but obviously you can see it's a full-on obstacle course. The rubbish in a lot of areas is up to my waist. It maybe doesn't look like that on camera because I'm currently stood. I'm not stood on the floor right now. I'm stood on top of loads of stuff. Super unpleasant thing is that I can feel cat poo, stuff covered in cat poo, like reaching my ankles. The smell's not that bad, but it is obviously going to get worse as we get deeper into the room. Oh my god, I haven't even told you, we're having issues with the rubbish removal people. They were meant to come and pick up all the rubbish by later today. Instead, all they can do is come tomorrow morning, which is fine, but it means all of the rubbish and stuff we've got to put in the front garden, which invites rats, it invites rodents, foxes, stuff like that will tear up the bin bag, but also it's not very pleasant for the neighbours. And there's pros and cons. Pros is it gives us a bit more time. Cons, of course, it's not very pleasant, but we don't really have a choice. We've been shagged. We've been royally shagged. One thing that I find really upsetting is every time me and Harry have come to this property, there's been a little black cat sat on top of here. And now that I'm seeing it, it's just completely covered in cat poo. And as Harry said, we're going to make this room nice for that cat. See you on the flippity flip.
All right, I'm going to throw the bags to B. Let's see if she can catch them.
I'm really bad at catching.
You ready?
One thing I will say about this clean is so much did not go to plan. The issue with the waste removal people did escalate to the point where the guy started getting really aggressive with Harry, but I'll explain more about that in a little bit. I'm also going to explain a lot more about the mother and her son's story and how they came to be in this situation, because there's quite a lot to it, and this mess obviously didn't appear overnight. We're talking well over 6 years worth of build up in this property. It's clean! Woo! Well, it's not clean at all, but it's clear.
And that's important.
We need a break, ASAP Rocky. God, this would be like such the perfect house. Like in terms of like size and layout, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Have a little office in here, little dressing room, nursery. Cute.
Yeah.
We're outside our next challenge, which is the son's room. We have so many. I mean, the guy loves salt and vinegar Pringles. I think that's for certain.
Who doesn't?
True. Lots of water bottles, juice bottles. I think the main thing here is recycling, essentially. Obviously, in the far left corner, he has got a lot of clutter in his room, a lot of clothes. He does need to sort all of that out, but we're going to approach that when we come to it. We did, as I said before, we did ask him to create a list. The list is pretty much everything in the room he wants to keep. So Harry and I's plan of action is basically to remove all of the stuff that is obviously rubbish, and then to say to him, anything you want to keep, you're going to put it in this empty room over here. And then whatever's left in the bedroom, aside from obviously like large pieces of furniture, bedding, you know, like obvious stuff, we're going to get rid of. Very tired. Me and Harry are both very tired. We shouldn't be, but we are. I'm feeling it now, really badly. I might have another energy drink, but I have had a lot today.
We can't get through the door because there's so much shit behind it. I don't know what to do.
Okay, it took a long time, but we finally got access into the son's bedroom. Now, I did just want to give you a little bit of context on him as well as on his mother. Now, just for a bit of context, he had a benign tumour removed from his knee when he was a child, and he's complained of having pain in his knee ever since. He told me that the pain gets so bad that it does affect his mobility, and that because of this pain, he struggles to clean up after himself. Now, the mother has a registered disability, and unlike her son, she is unable to walk unassisted. Because of this, her son is the only person in this household that is able to take out rubbish. My hope is that once this free clean is complete and the accumulated waste is cleared, that the son would be able to take responsibility for ensuring the bins are put out on collection days moving forward. A few things have happened that make me nervous about, you know, if he'll actually follow through with that. First of all, I've been going back and forth from this free clean for the last 2 months because it's very far away from where I live. It's a big job, and Harry and I are a team of 2, and the family were very reluctant to get rid of anything. Them not wanting to throw out anything added another layer of difficulty onto this clean. Additionally, there wasn't a single time that I returned that the son had been successful in taking out the bins for that week. And this is just a small part of the jigsaw puzzle that I'm trying to put together to understand the son's relationship with waste. When I initially arrived, there were 4 bikes squeezed into the tiny hallway. These bikes obstructed the path and made it even more difficult for the mother to access any of the other rooms in our home. And I know it's not my stuff, so I can't really comment, but from my point of view, it did seem like there was no point them being there in the hallway, considering both the mother and her son were physically unable to use them due to their mobility issues. Next to the bikes was a tiny treadmill, and long story cut short, the mum and her son were both very insistent that they did not, under any circumstances, want me to get rid of these items. Now, as the clean went on, the mother did change her mind and eventually asked me to get rid of one of the 4 bikes. She did say her son was still insisting on keeping the treadmill and the other bike, so, you know, we left them where they were. But this was my first indication that, you know, there was some similarities between this behaviour and the behaviour of someone with a hoarding disorder. On top of that, every single time I've come to this property to clean, the mother has always been super thankful, but the son has never said thank you or appeared thankful. It happens sometimes, and that is fine because I can visibly see their relief. I can visibly see that they feel a weight has been lifted from their shoulders. So even though they might not say the words thank you, I can see that they are thankful. I didn't get that vibe with the son, and now I'm thinking back and I'm worrying and I can't get it out of my head. What if he had developed an emotional attachment to the items in his home that people like you and I might consider to be rubbish? And what if that's the reason he conveniently kept missing bin day? Because if that's the case, then no shit he didn't say thank you. This whole experience was probably traumatizing for him. If I'm honest, I'm really hoping that's not the case because I never want to cause anyone distress. You know, these cleans are meant to be a nice thing that gives the resident a sense of relief, and I know that that's definitely the case for the mother, but I didn't really consider until afterwards that that might not be the case for the son.
Okay, and guess what Vax sent us? I'm very excited about this, guys. We've got the Vax SpotWash, the Vax Platinum Smart Wash. So this is like a carpet cleaner, carpet wash, and we're going to be using them on these carpets because Lord knows we need all the help we can get. You can kind of see I've did a Hoover line here and a Hoover line here, but
as you already know, the carpet across this property was covered in cat hair, soaked in urine, older than I am, and in a really bad way. I know these carpets are easily over 19 years old, and they clearly need a lot of love. But Vax came through and they gifted us some goodies to help us on this free clean. This is the Vax Platinum Smart Wash Pet Design Carpet Cleaner. I began by taking the pre-treatment wand, which is built right into the machine. It pops out super easily and sprays a targeted cleaning solution to help loosen up all of that stubborn embedded dirt. For this step, my solution of choice was the Vax Pet Stain and Odor Pre-Treatment Solution, because it's designed to remove urine, feces, and vomit. This bedroom carpet had a lot of that soaked into it. Then I loaded up my main compartment with Vax's Platinum Antibacterial Solution, which kills over 99% of bacteria. It also uses motion sense technology to make carpet cleaning as easy as possible. All you have to do is push the machine forward to release water and cleaning solution, and then pull it back to dry. You don't need to worry about any scrubbing with this machine, because the Vax Platinum Smart Wash Pet Design Carpet Cleaner does it all for you. It also has a dry only mode, which helps the carpet dry in as little as an hour. And wait till you see what came out of this carpet. Spoiler alert, it was delicious. We switched gears to tackle the hard to reach areas like the stairs, so everyone meet the Vax SpotWash Max Pet Design and Car. I loaded the machine up with Vax's solutions, and oh my lord, this little machine is mighty. First of all, it's Vax's most powerful spot cleaner with 30% more suction power, and this tool right here, this little spin scrub hand tool, it has automatic rotating bristles that lift stains up without me even having to scrub. It's basically like cleaning on autopilot. If you want to try either of these machines, you can use my code B10 for 10% off. The link is in my bio. Huge thanks to Vax for sponsoring this deep clean and making it possible. Without them, we wouldn't be able to keep bringing these cleans to people who truly deserve them. Now, let's get back to the video.
guys, I am so stressed. The people that are meant to be coming to take the rubbish are like saying that it's too much. We've paid like £500 for like the most amount of rubbish that they can possibly have available to get rid of, and they're saying it's too much rubbish, but we're underneath what our allowance is. What's the update?
Well, there's a sofa in the truck before they even got there, right?
Well, so that's not fair.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I told there's that many bags. They said, right, they're going to call them back.
Yeah, because that's not our fault if they've already got a sofa in there. We're paying for an entire cage, essentially.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And they're telling us the cage is already
see.
full.
We'll see what they say when they come back.
So yeah, very stressful.
Okay, so this is the stuff that they're unsure if they'll be able to take. Yeah, they still got quite a lot.
Just for context, the service is basically you fill up your bin bags with all your rubbish, leave it outside the property, and they will bring, it's like a truck but with a massive cage on the back, and you pay for certain amounts of rubbish. We paid for the maximum load that they'll take, which was like 90 to 100 bin bags, but it also includes furniture. Hello? Yeah, there's one downstairs. Just in there. You're welcome. And essentially they come, they take your bin bags, and then they load the bin bags into the back of their big van crate gate thing. So that's what's happening right now, but Harry is also going to help them as well to keep them sweet, so they actually take the amount that we've paid for, because they don't seem very happy about it. It's stressful.
This will always be my favourite part of a free deep clean. I love refurnishing and redecorating. Now listen, besties, usually at this point I would be buying new furniture and new items for the room. However, because this family already has so much stuff and they already struggle to get rid of stuff, I didn't think it was wise for me to introduce new items on top of that. So instead, I've popped a few of the son's items back into his room. The rest of his belongings are in the spare bedroom and he can go through them in his own time and figure out what he wants to keep and what he wants to chuck. Overall, I'm really happy with these before and afters, and when I was looking back at them just now, because I'm obviously doing the voiceover for this video, I kept thinking about how high that rubbish pile was before, to the point when I originally saw this bedroom, I didn't realize it was a bunk bed because the rubbish level was so high that it was literally up to the top bunk. And now look, loads of empty space. I love to see it. Also, I am gonna give you a rundown of the mother's story. She has emailed me in depth what happened to her. So I will be sharing that with you from her own words. I'll just be reading out what she said because I don't know, it doesn't feel right for me to put it into different words that aren't directly hers. Also, last thing, little update with the rubbish waste removal. We did end up getting a partial refund. That's lovely. It's just they didn't give us that news until we'd already left for this free clean. So the rubbish and waste that they left at the front of the property was sadly still there by the time we left. Don't worry though, we have had reassurance that the woman's other sons, because she has 3 sons in total, both of them drive and are, you know, able-bodied, so they'll be able to take that additional rubbish to the tip for her. So yeah, it is definitely inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world. That being said, I don't think I will use that waste removal company again just because of how aggressive they were with Harry. Yeah, it's a no from me.
Hi, welcome. We are back. We're doing the kitchen today. I'm excited. It's a big kitchen, so I'll see you in there. I'll see you there. How's my hair look? Like a croissant?
It's beautiful.
Delicious.
Okay, we are now in the kitchen. It's the obvious suspects. Lots of rubbish, lots of rotting food, some flies, some maggots, and what else? Oh, cat feces. Quite a lot of cat feces. Now, I do need to mention the elephant in the room, which is the awful camera quality. So it was very dirty in this room, and because it was so dirty, our camera lenses also got dirty. There was a lot of cat poo. That cat poo's fossilized. Think lots of dust coming into the air, but the dust is cat poo every time you move something. Long story cut short, what I'm trying to say is my mask was also completely clouded. So this camera footage looked like it was normal when I was watching it back. It's only now that I don't have cat poo in my eyes that I can see that everything's a very grey gradient feel. But I promise it is only for this first day. We figure it out after that, and then the camera quality will suddenly get nice again. And whilst Harry and I clear this room of all of the rubbish, I'm gonna read out an email that I received from the woman living here. Okay, here we go. B. Me and Jack have been chatting. By the way, Jack is her teenage son. That's not his real name. I've just made up that name now. Me and Jack have been chatting about a big part of what's caused our poor mental health, and we wanted to tell you some of the things we've been through. My ex-husband was mentally abusive for most of our married life, and it wasn't until years later that I was forced to accept, by friends and by family, that he was a narcissist and a gaslighter. Whilst I was being mentally abused, our sons, especially the eldest son, were being physically abused and beat. I married at 18 and became a mum at 19. He was my childhood boyfriend, and for a long time I believed he was my soulmate. When we lived in Cornwall for just under 2 years, my nan passed away, and it completely broke me. I cried every day for at least 2 weeks, and he had a go at me every day until I felt suicidal. To be honest, if it weren't for my sons, I'm not sure I would still be here today. When he flew into a rage, he even scared men bigger than him, so I was terrified. I just want to pause quickly and add a little bit of context to the next part of the mother's story. The teenage son who lives here, we've been calling him Jack, he is a transgender man, so the mother does use his dead name, and when that dead name is used, I'm still gonna say Jack. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because, you know, I don't want to stray too far from the original words that she wrote, but I want to give some context. Anyway, let's continue. It took having our 3rd child, a beautiful baby girl called Jack, to finally wake up and find the strength to say enough. For a while, he turned nice and talked me into trying again. I stupidly agreed, and within 2 months, he was back to being abusive again. That's when I finally said, no more, I'm done. Okay, I have another 2 paragraphs to read out from the mother, but we're going to have a quick interlude and then go right back into reading out those paragraphs. We ordered some Nando's. Okay, so we finished. We finished at like, what, 6? We got a lot done. Me and Harry cracked it out. We got a German doner kebab for lunch, but the gym box because we're dieting. Mama's been going to the gym, but I had 2 Red Bulls. As soon as I had the Red Bulls, I was on fire. I was a machine. Okay, I was like boom, 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 boom. And then we just smashed it out. So now we're going to the Shell to get extra Red Bulls for tomorrow. And I think we'll be able to finish early, Harry. I do. Yatta! And we've ordered a Nando's. I got a double pitta. Nando's seems to, it's becoming my free clean thing. Every free clean we do away from home, I'm getting a Nando's. Anyway, that's all. Bye!
Cool.
There's loads of people watching. Hi! Okay, we're back. Yesterday we got rid of all of the rubbish. Today is when the actual cleaning starts. I'm really, really, really hoping that we'll be done by Friday. Fingers crossed. Yeah, a lot of stuff yesterday was contaminated. A lot had to go. I'm feeling good. I'm having a Red Bull though, because I am very tired. What else? What else is new, Harry?
What are we doing today?
I just said cleaning.
Yeah, just like it.
Okay, let's dive right back into the mother's email. He, who is the ex-husband, became more and more controlling when it came to Jack. She ended up liking his girlfriend and spent as much time as possible with her when at their house. When she said she wanted to spend more time with him, he tried to force me to make her go to his house on Sundays, even though he'd already restricted her to being home with me only 3 days a week. When she told him she wanted to stay with me, he screamed down the phone at me, called me every name under the sun, and after that, she said she didn't want to see him anymore because of how he shouted at me. So he completely dropped her from his life, apart from buying a birthday present each year until she turned 18. He still has no idea that Jack has changed names and come out as transgender, because he would go absolutely ballistic at me and blame me entirely. He's also cut Jack out of his will completely. A little update. The sink, we're getting there. This pretty much clean. We'll still go do another few go-overs on this work surface to get it nice and white. I've just laid down lots of lime scale remover in the sink to get that nice and up to scratch. Then we'll go in one last time with the Scrub Daddy Power Paste, which is in that orange thing right there. And then now I'm going to hoover all of this. Can you see that? I'll be honest, I'm not entirely sure what it is. I think it's like a mixture of like dead flies, poop, dust, cobwebs, that kind of thing. These blinds are definitely seen better days. Same for the walls. Continuing with the email, sorry. I won't go into too much detail, but our eldest son told me a couple of years ago about the true extent of the beatings and some of the things he was exposed to. Things no child should ever see. He also told me the real cause of our beloved dog suddenly passing in 2005. Sorry for the really long email. We just wanted to give you a bit more background on our mental health struggles. We're happy for you to share some of this if you want in your posts, as it might help people understand a little more about what we've been dealing with, alongside my constant pain and the stress of Jack's tumour. Again, sorry for the long message. I just wanted to give you a bit more information. I couldn't sleep, so I decided to email. Honestly, when I first saw that email, I just started tearing up. One thing about these free cleans is it is so rare that I'm able to share the stories, and the full stories at that, of the people that I'm cleaning for. And bearing in mind, this email has so much redacted from it about, you know, what happened to this woman and her son. And you guys already know, if you have been here before, that whenever someone applies for a free deep clean, they're able to write me an entire list, no matter how big or long they want it to be, of everything they don't want me to share with the internet. So I'll know the full story, but I'm not necessarily going to share even 2% of that full story with you guys if the resident isn't comfortable with that happening. I think that's definitely part of the reason why I get so upset by hate comments that are left about the people I'm cleaning for, because 10 out of 10 times it's people making assumptions on the situation that they really do know nothing about. But yeah, I think the mother is so brave for reaching out, and You know, it's one thing saying you need help, it's another actually accepting that help when it comes along. And I can imagine that this whole process has been very scary for her and for her son. But I am so happy that they reached out and asked for help, and I'm so happy and grateful that we were able to provide it for them. I feel like I should explain the order that I cleaned this property. So first we cleaned the 2 bathrooms and the downstairs corridor so we could actually get to the bathrooms. Then it was the kitchen, then it was the bedroom and upstairs landing and the spare bedroom. As of today, the only rooms in this property that I've not yet cleaned are the living room and the mother's bedroom. The mother's bedroom is actually really quite clean because, you know, she can't access it. The living room is the worst room in the property, and I will be doing that, but I need to properly plan and prepare for it because there are a lot of needles scattered all across the living room, and also I'm still in unfamiliar territory of what I can and cannot throw away in that room because it is very intense.
What you doing now, mate? Lovely.
My lovely. Okay, so this is what I call the final clean. This is where we re-sanitize the sink. We give everything one last wipe down. You see, obviously it's been clean, but you see with these marks, it's not clean enough. And this is also where we get all of the fresh sponges, the fresh sponge heads, to make sure everything is sanitized, basically. I bought scissors because I knew I would need the scissors. What packaging do scissors come in? Packaging that needs to be opened with scissors. I think that's just rude, you know?
I think you complain too much.
Suck your scissors.
Okay, so admittedly I did get a few little goodies for the kitchen, just because pretty much everything that was in this room was really heavily contaminated. So we did need to replace quite a lot, and obviously the mother was happy for us to do this. So yeah, I went to Home Bargains, I got a few little bits. And you guys already know if you've been here before, normally I am a B&Q girly, so yes, I felt like I was cheating on B&Q. But my love for B&Q is currently unrequited, so B&Q can't be mad at me if I cheat on them with Home Bargains. I'm joking. Time for the before and afters. I love ya.
Hi friends! We finished the kitchen! I'm really happy with how it went. The only issue is obviously there's a lot of damage, and it has gone in some places, especially like the cat scratching the wall and all of that. The problem is the walls all really textured, so it's really difficult to get them clean. With the scratches, there's not much I can do unless I'm like sanding everything down and repainting it, and I do free cleans. I don't do free decorating and painting services. Plus, I don't think you'd want that. I'm not very good at it. So yeah, I'm happy it's clean, and that's the important thing. We bought them all new knives, forks, spoons, that kind of stuff. Kitchen utensils. They've also got brand new bowls and plates, and pots and pans. And we've done the pots and pans on this lower level just because obviously the lady who lives here is disabled, so we want to make it as accessible for her as possible. Hand soap, we've got washing up liquid and some clean bits as well, but everything's been put away. Overall, I'm quite happy with how it went. There's certain things that I'm like, it's probably better just to replace. Like the blinds, there's no point cleaning them. They're completely broken. And they're covered in spiders, so I'd rather not. Like they need to just be replaced. But I think it's good. Me and Harry, we both are very tired. I think we've done, in 2.5 days, we've transformed this kitchen from what you saw about probably 15 minutes ago to what it is now. And I'm pretty proud of us. I think we've done really well. But oh my gosh, can we feel it? We are shattered. The floor, I will say, the floor actually looks incredible compared to what I thought it would. It is real tile, it's super porous, and it is heavily stained. And again, this council flat's been lived in for over 20 years. It's gonna have natural wear and tear, but considering what's been on this kitchen floor for as long as it has been, Yes, there's some staining, but it is clean, and that's the most important thing. Harry did really well with that.
What do you think of the area? Milton Keynes, the city of roundabouts.
Very roundabouty. Very roundabouty. I do prefer Leicester. And obviously everything clicks apart, so you can clean each individual component like super easy. I'm so excited. Like this one just slides on like that. But look how easy that is.